That's my thinking face. Hey, we got a little buddy here. We got a little buddy. We're doing this little ET in honor of my deceased sister because this video had a little something to do about that. Bye. He's gone. I don't like E.T. She bought me that because she tried to scare me all the time with E.T. Why you gotta scare me and torture me all the time? Hey, this video's a little bit more serious. But I don't know if I'm in a serious mood, okay? This is about empathy. This is about understanding and dealing with death in a certain way. And it's interesting for me because I used to always tell people, I've told people my entire life that, I was extremely fortunate. I didn't deal with death, as far as like friend or family until I was, I was 17 or 18 when my grandpa passed away. And even then you're dealing, for me, lacking the general empathy that most people feel, at 17 or 18 years old and your grandpa passes away and he's like in his 70s, late 70s, it's kind of like, ooh, hey, the guy was in his 70s, and you're a kid, and you're like, hey, people are supposed to die when they're in their 70s. It's not that big a deal. He lived his life and he passed away. But it was still sad because it's your grandpa, and then, I started just progressing on through life through my 20s, and of course there was some people that you might have went to school with that passed away that you didn't know very close. They die in car accidents and things like that, just general accidents. But even at that, I was very fortunate that I just didn't deal with that like a lot of people do. A lot of it is because I wasn't like in touch with those people and didn't get to know people on those personal levels over time, like some people do. Like even with my wife, I have conversations with her all the time, and she explains to me about how when she was in her 20s, she had this friend, that friend, whatever, pass away, and she was close to them, whatever. I didn't have those friendships. I didn't have those close friendships where I felt that way. But that being said, the reason for that is, I don't know, I think people like me that generally lack that empathy tend to distance themselves from people because the less relationships that you have in life, the less drama that you're going to deal with. And yes, I'm referring to death as drama because it really is. If you're not associated with a lot of people, then you're not going to deal with death and you're not going to have those negative emotions over time. For good or bad, okay? I'm not saying having those relationships is bad because you're going to deal with that, because it would be wrong of me. It's good to have relationships. But even in my 20s, I really didn't know anybody other than, when I was 25 and I was in Iraq, there was some couple people pass away. I didn't know those people greatly, but there was other guys that did, and I saw the way that they dealt with the death. And I just didn't deal with it in that way. I didn't have those close interpersonal relationship skills with those people that did pass away. And then, we started creeping up in there, and I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll. Like, my family's not dying, and then, I had another grandpa die, and, he was older too. And, I didn't have a real big relationship with him, so that didn't affect me, that much. And then my grandma passed away. Same way. She was what, in her 80s. Older is kind of what you expect from people. She had been ill for a while in a nursing home and things like that. So she passes away. You have to, in those instances, you deal as death as that person, being released from those, from those horrible health conditions. I view it as a positive. It's a saving grace for them to be released from that, and they lived a good life. So that's fabulous. And so I just didn't deal with the death. There was a point where my dad had a heart attack, and boy, that hit me hard. But he survived. He got through it, and he's cruising on through. Everything's good right now. He's healthy. And then out of nowhere, I sit around, and my whole life, I'm 41 years old, and I'm like, I'm good to go, man. I haven't really had that just hard-hitting, just life-altering death. And you start to get in your 40s, and you kind of maybe think that it's going to start coming. And, you just get hit upside the head. Your sister passes away. She's 46 years old. And wow, what a stinker And I say it all the time. That there won't be another one. There won't be another one that hits you that way. You know, even you could relate this to, you know, when my dad does pass away or whatever. He's in his late 60s right now, so he's kicking on along, and boy, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt really bad when he does. But then again, we're gonna look at it as he lived a solid life, and he got some years under his belt. It makes it more challenging for me when you see someone young pass away, and the sister thing hurt tremendously, but. And I even will sit around and I'll equate that to, like, what if so and so passed away? Would it hurt the same? Probably not. I don't think you're ever going to reach, my sister Tara passing away. But the reason I was compelled to make this video was, not just to discuss my own, personal arrangement on and my feelings of empathy towards death, but I know a guy that, man, this guy. He's a good guy. I've known him for a couple years now. He's associated with the Pee Wee Football League here in Garland, and he's just a good guy. And he's from this area, and he's one of those guys that has a lot of those interpersonal relationship skills or relationships in this area because he grew up in the Dallas area, and he's from a tight-knit community, so he knows so many people. And I feel like every week on Facebook he's posting that someone passes away. For me, as someone that just lacks empathy, I see this and I'm like, oh man, this sucks for this guy. It's like, you see enough of it, enough of it to how it feels. But for this man, Melvin. Hello, Melvin. You're going to watch this video. I'm going to tag you in it on Facebook. But for you, man, that's hard hitting, dude. That's hard hitting. And I hope you get out there, and I hope you're going to do, with everything that I've seen you go through in the last couple of years with death and grieving. I hope you're out there and getting the help that you need. I hope you've got someone to talk to, and that, because it's important, if you have a chance to get in and go to therapy and talk to someone about this, or if it'll help you to come around, my door's always open. Or if you just like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, a lot of my videos bring some humor to kind of make, if you bring humor into your life, you're certainly going to feel good about it. But, it's really, you got to get set up for success moving forward and learn how to heal from that death. Because it's important the way that affects you. Because, man, I just see them, they just keep piling up on you, brother. It's just the way they pile up on you. Don't let all of that settle in your soul. Figure out a way to deal with it and move forward, and rejoice in your own life and those around you, of your friends and family, and things are going to be okay. And, we figure it out as a family and we move forward. And let's not be negative about these things. And we got to keep living. So thanks for watching. Like this video. Feel free to comment on it. And we'll see you again.